There's one guy.
All right, good evening, everyone. Call this meeting Spiceland Town Council to order. President Jack Runner is absent tonight, so I will be running the meeting. We do have, before we get to the regular business meeting, we do have two public hearings for ordinance adoptions. So I will open up public hearing on ordinance 2026-7. This ordinance is about prohibiting parking on 4th Street. I'll read through the ordinance real quick here. Whereas the Town Council of Town Spiceland has the authority to regulate the standing of parking vehicles on town streets under its jurisdiction. Whereas authorizes the town to exercise any powers it has to extend that power is not expressly denied by the Indiana Constitution or statute, not expressly prohibited by another entity. Town Council has determined that prohibiting parking on 4th Street is necessary for public safety and orderly flow of traffic within the town. Provides that ordinance adopted under subsection A1 is effective when signs giving notice of the local traffic regulations are posted upon or at the entrance of the street. Now therefore be ordained by the Town Council of Town Spiceland. Following section 1, prohibition of parking on 4th Street, no person shall stop, stand, or park any vehicle at any time on 4th Street within the corporate limits of the Town of Spiceland. This ordinance shall apply to the entire length of 4th Street within the Town of Spiceland, Indiana, including both sides of the street from Main to Broad. Section 3, exceptions. The prohibition sets forth that section 1 shall not apply to 1. Authorized emergency vehicles actively engaged in emergency operations. 2. Vehicles stopped in compliance with the direction of the police officer or traffic control device. 3. Vehicles stopped when necessary to avoid conflict with other traffic or in compliance with the law. Or 4. Town vehicles engaged in official town business, including but not limited to maintenance, construction, or public works activities. Section 4, signage. The town shall erect and maintain official signs at each end of 4th Street and at appropriate intervals along 4th Street, clearly indicating no parking any time, or similar language giving notice of the parking prohibition established by this ordinance. This ordinance shall not be enforceable until such signs are erected and maintained. Section 5, penalties. Any person who violates any provision of this ordinance shall be subject to a fine not to exceed $250 for each violation. Each stated violation continues to constitute a separate offense. Section 6, severability. If any section, subsection, sentence, clause, or phrase of this ordinance or any reason held to be invalid or unconstitutional by court or competent jurisdiction, such decision shall not affect the validity of the remaining portions of this ordinance. Town Council hereby declares that it will be passed this ordinance in each section, subsection, sentence, clause, phrase therein, irrespective of the fact that any or more sections, subsections, sentences, clause, or phrase be declared invalid or unconstitutional. The effective date would be as of the passage of said ordinance. The official reading of ordinance 2026-7. Open it up now to the Town Council for discussion of the ordinance. So, as a reminder, this was for this June or May? June meeting. Council had discussion about about this issue. Determination that the street is lower than most of the streets that have on-street parking, and concerns about flow of traffic. Council have any thoughts or concerns about particular ordinances presented? We'll now open it up for public comment, specifically about ordinance 2026-7. Does anyone have any comment? Yes, ma'am.
I do.
Would you please stand and state your name?
My name is Jocelyn, so I live on the corner of Main Street right down there.
Okay.
So, I live on Smith Street, like, so I don't believe it's fair, technically. So, it has been an ongoing issue between, which I kind of want to talk after this meeting. And I'm not going to say names currently, but, I mean, if you see a alley after, I mean, it is completely, like, there's people that park and it's on our street. And it's only made fun of because people are complaining for certain reasons. And there's been no issues, but I'm just wondering if I know about issues.
Okay. Thank you.
And there's like a broken alley over. So I don't know why until.
The alley over what?
I don't know the exact street, like here's 4th Street, and then on the other side of the red brick house, there's also an alley, and there are other vehicles that park in the middle of the alley, and then the heavens then.
There's a difference between, so the alley, there's an alley that runs this way. Is that what you're talking about?
And then there's almost like this way. Street. Third. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just.
The next street to the east towards State Road 3.
Yeah, it's like.
It's in between third.
Yeah.
The Evergrass parks.
Yeah.
Everybody parks.
Yeah, everybody's parking out there.
It's a grass.
That's an alley.
Right.
Yeah, Street,
One of the unfinished
Main
alleys. Yes, and we've been dealing with those issues, and there have been citations for people parking in those alleys, and people that have, we've brought that up, and we've done that this year. I understand that concern, and that is something that council has cited people for parking in that alley. Thank you. Anyone else?
Except this is ordinance on the 4th Street, where it's going to end. Main's abroad. Well, no, that's not what I'm talking about. Once we start this that way, you're gonna have people going to start to park front of us. He's got a house here on Main Street, and he's gonna start directing, because we're parking on Main Street, now he needs to park on start having to put no parking on Main Street. And you're gonna have people parking, look like parking on North Main Street. You have people that want to park on Broad Street. So where's the end?
Yeah, no, I understand that. I think, this.
I do understand that 4th Street is narrow.
Yeah, 4th Street is more narrow than most of the on-street parking. So Main Street, Broad Street specifically are designed for the on-street parking. I think the issue becomes when we have some of these side streets that aren't as wide. So if you're saying, is this going to be a cascading issue? No, because we already have non-parking spaces inbound. I mean, we have streets that are, it's not like this is the first street that just allows no parking. So it's just something that's a case-by-case issue, and things that have come up in the past, and then areas that have been deemed no parking in the past as well. Yes, ma'am. Would you say your name, please?
My name is Melissa Morris. I live at the corner of 4th and Broad, across the street from Miss Kinsey. I purchased my home in 2019. When I moved in, there was no issues with parking. The former tenants that lived where they lived, the Higginses, they had a friend that came over every morning for coffee. This was never an issue. So I don't understand why since we get new residents in that house, this has become an issue. Now that we have parking on Main Street, I have an 11-year-old child. She wants to ride her bicycle around town, but cars that come off of Main Street on 4th Street at an exceptional rate of speed, they've had to duck into yard to avoid collisions with vehicles. These are children, they need to slow down for one, but it is causing more issues because of cars blocking on Main Street as well. The kids can't see around them with bicycles.
So you're saying, your concern is, so there's
There are
cars
no-
parked near the intersection of Main and 4th.
Yes,
So it's too close to the intersection?
there, just right there in that corner, children can't see around the cars,
Right.
they see cars that are turning because they can't see people parked cars. But then there are cars coming down Main, they're just moving on the Ford, and they're
Sure.
coming in close contact with these children that are having to duck into yards, which, you know, if you add more, increase the parking there, it's a double-edged sword, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. I think the concern there, and maybe that's something to look at, is where cars may be parking too close to the intersection, and whether or
And
not
that
there
could be-
needs to
I just feel like
be,
it
whether or
needs
not
to be
there
brought
needs to
up.
be, I mean, I think that's something I've noticed as well, is I don't know that we have a good standard in instant, but, I mean, we have painted, the guys have been out painting, you know, on the curves, no parking areas around. Some of that, I think, is just what we've sort of dealt with or established. So maybe we need to take a look at whether or not there needs to be, better sight lines in some of these areas.
And that could be, I just, with the parking issue coming up and there not being issues with more on Fourth, I just want to know about the issue for the children on that as well. My child frequents 4th Street a lot in the night, so nobody wants a child hit in the house.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I understand. My kids, they rode their bikes on Cherry Street, same issue, you know, you have that with, you know, people come down the streets too fast. Absolutely.
Maybe an option could be on Main Street, from a certain point, no parking from this point to the corner. And that way, the cars that do park there on Main Street, you would have that line of sight coming around the corner, they wouldn't be blocked right there.
Yeah.
So that would just be an addition of another sign,
Yeah.
an extended painting maybe.
I think it's a valid concern, something we can take a look at as to what the sightlines are. And I think it's not just there, it's something we probably have to take a look at throughout town. And even proximity to driveways. I mean, we have some painted areas where driveways, and sometimes people, you know, even park to where they're starting to encroach on their neighbor's driveway, and that can become an issue too. So, it's a valid point. Other comments? Yes, sir.
Yes, Larry Critical, 403 East Main. Since I proposed this, I think it's a great idea. That's all I have today to say. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, I will close the public comment portion of this hearing. We'll move into discussion by the council.
Sir, I'm sorry. Public comments, is it just on the ordinances, or can you just comment on anything?
This word, we're specifically just talking about this ordinance.
Okay.
There'll be a public comment portion at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Comments from council? We are and we can act on this tonight if we want to. We don't have to. So options available, we look for either motion to approve the ordinance as presented, deny, we could amend, or we could table it. So entirely up to council if you're ready to move forward.
I think tables next meeting. So of course, leading on to it.
We need to make the amendments, like add the parking area at Main and Fourth for the safety of the children. And we add.
We wouldn't necessarily need to do that with this, we could, potentially.
Would it be the same, like, it would be easier to do it that way?
To,
Just making it then, like, add an addendum to that.
yeah, I think we could, yeah. If we wanted to, yeah, I mean, that's something we could explore, if you wanted to look at, adding on additional or, I would envision that would be something like some verbiage of, no parking from, 25 feet from the edge of this side, 25, something like that. I'm just throwing out a number, obviously. Yeah, we could do that. What?
I make a motion that we table work until the next meeting after the deadline is made.
I mean, this is just something to think about. You can jump off the lap right here and they can sit right on the spot, but I'd rather not think about it instead of making a quick judgment.
There's been a motion to table ordinance 2026-7 until the next meeting. Any further discussion on the table? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Just so you all are aware, so it will come back up at the next meeting, that this was the public hearing portion. The council may allow additional comment at the next meeting, but it's not required. So just FYI, so when it comes back up at the next meeting, action will be taken, but not necessarily public comment. It will be up to the council's discretion, so whether it's going to take additional public comment. All right, we have another ordinance before us under special meetings. I will open up the hearing on ordinance 2026-8. Ordinance amending ordinance 1989-2 and 2025-3. Whereas it's necessary to protect the welfare and safety of residents of the town of Spiceland, in County, Indiana, providing an amendment to the ordinance regulating the flow of traffic from intersections and establishing provisions of the same. Whereas the traffic schedule shall include an additional 5 stop signs on the corner of the alleyway off South 2nd Street, running east and west 5th Street, including intersections of the alley between Main Street and Broad Street, 3rd Street and 4th Street, which will all make those intersections two-way stops, included in the tax schedule. The town of Spiceland, Indiana, as follows: when signs are erected giving notice therein, drivers of vehicles and dog parks shall stop at the intersection before entering the following streets: alleyway off of Spiceland 2nd, running east and west to 5th Street, including intersections of the alley between Main Street, Broad Street, 3rd Street, and 4th Street. No provisions of this ordinance for which signs are required by law shall be enforced against any alleged allegations. And an official sign is not in proper position, sufficient legibility to be seen by an ordinary observant person. Traffic control signs shall be of the shapes and colors that have the same meaning as specified by the Indiana Uniform Act regulating traffic on highways, and shall apply to all drivers and pedestrians. The sign erected pedestrians have to stop and stop sign. Does it make sense?
Yes.
The sign erected pursuant to this article shall bear the word, the ordinance actually says work there, and it's just word. Shall bear the word stop, at least 8 inches high and lettered, and shall be luminous or illuminated at night, and shall be located at, near, or practicable to the intersection. When stop signs are erected at the intersection as herein provided, every driver of the vehicle or golf cart shall stop such vehicle at each sign before entering the intersection unless directed to proceed by police officers or traffic control signal. Every person convicted of violation of this provision of the ordinance shall be subject to a fine of $25 for each violation. All ordinances in conflict are thereby repealed. The town clerk shall certify the passage of this ordinance cause the same to be published according to laws which govern the same. The ordinance shall take effect as a passage. And included is the updated Chapter 72 traffic schedules that now include these additional stop signs. Before I open it up to the council, can you speak to the location of where these are? Where you going?
Yeah. So I mean, the driveway, they're all pretty obvious, is where they need to be, especially the first two are really flying intersections. The first one used to have stop signs at some point. I don't know where they went or who took them down.
So this is the alleyway that runs parallel between Main and Broad.
Yeah.
And it
Starts over on Second Street.
stops whenever the alleyway intersects the road that runs north and south.
Yeah. I guess you're about to have a couple of golf cart accidents there anyway. It's the main issue. Maybe my car typically takes a good look anyway, but
Hard to see around some of
hard
those.
to say, one bar is literally that close to the house. It's really a fine spot.
All right, throw it up to the council for discussion. This was something I think we actually took this up a couple of meetings ago when we first started talking about this. Any comments from council? All right, I will throw this open for public comment. Again, this is just on ordinance 2026-8. Any public comment?
I would be in favor of that. I think we need a lot more stop signs in this town to slow people down.
Yeah, even if you see people running, especially down at the cemetery, at least they slow down. Any other comments on this one?
What can be done about the underage children that are flying up and down, not stopping, down the alley, down 4th Street? I mean, somebody's gonna get hurt. And these are underage kids.
On motorized vehicles?
They're on those cars. Mom and dad say, here you go.
Yeah.
Turn loose. And they do not. I don't care how many stop signs, which I think it's great, set up stop signs. But these kids, they're too busy out having fun.
Yeah.
And they don't stop. And somebody's gonna get hurt.
Issue tickets.
So, I mean, we do have, there's, there's a statute that, it's, yeah, I mean, it's a matter of catching them.
And kids have been stopped in town on golf carts. I don't know that they got tickets, but I do believe once they start getting tickets and the tickets show up in mom and dad's mail or however that works, I don't know, because I don't get tickets. I'm kidding. But once they start showing up, mom and dad have to start paying them. The golf cart fees may not be accessible.
Our police isn't down here. I mean, he's only limited, so when these kids are out, it's fair game. They do what they want. Yes, it starts with mom and dad telling them, go do what you want, be careful. And then we don't know how kids are. But I don't want to see any kids getting hurt.
Sure. Yeah. It's a valid concern. Any other comments on this ordinance? All right, I'll close the public hearing, the public comment portion of this hearing. All right, again, same council, we can approve, amend, table, we can live the ordinance.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Jody and seconded by Robert. Any other discussion on this ordinance? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Did you catch that? I'm sorry. I need to go back and say, but you caught so that, I assume you second the motion with the correction.
Yeah.
And this will still need to be published in the paper before it becomes. you don't need to technically adjourn a special meeting. You don't really need to adjourn a special meeting. All right, so that concludes the, special meeting portion of, this meeting. We'll move into the regular business, and, first item on the agenda is the regular business are, we have two sets of minutes to approve. We have the May 12th minutes and the June 9th minutes. Look for a motion to approve those minutes as presented.
Motion to approve.
Motion made second to approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes 4-0. All right, next item on the agenda, superintendent's report.
Okay, I was gonna talk about the crack ceiling thing, but I'll talk to Fred again right at the end of the day today, and I'd like to hold off one more month on that.
Okay.
We won't be doing it anytime soon anyway. For whatever reason, we didn't understand what we were wanting after several tries, but if we could hold off, I think it'd be an advantage.
Yeah. So last month we had looked at, we had one quote for crack ceiling, we had one, we had a number, but it wasn't itemized, and so it was hard to compare the two. So I think we asked the other contractor if they could itemize it, so it sounds like we still have a number of time. And we've got time,
Yeah,
we've got several more months.
I know that you will respond.
Is everyone okay with waiting another month, or do you want to move forward with?
So the point of waiting on this guy is because or just the one we already have that's itemized.
She's done it before, you know, did a really good job.
Okay. I thought it was cheaper too.
And it was cheaper.
It's a lot cheaper.
It was quite a bit cheaper, actually.
So we're not sure if everything was included in that. Because he did have it itemized. Say it again, I'm sorry.
I think the last meeting they present, we're giving the two quotes, one was like a inflation quote, and then the other one was right.
We went through that.
That way we can get them in.
Yeah, to make sure that what we were paying for with the cheaper quote was the same as what the other guys quoted. Yeah, okay, so it sounds like everyone's consensus is the whole ballpark, I guess.
Okay, good. I'll have something more on that next month. The fire we had the other day, the fire chief was watching, he's partially avoiding. Getting the crap over we had several water leaks, one really bad one. That one got finished at 2:30 in the morning. We have one remaining, but hopefully that's all we have. It's kind of been a deal with IDEM, that kind of became a thing with them because we ran out of water. There was no way to report when we ran out of water. The only thing I can do is shut the town off so we can still fight the fire. That's the only thing we can do. But they go to the out-of-town fire department stop and they open the hydrant really fast and they shut it really fast. That causes water hammer, which creates lots of pressure and they causes leaks. Scott wasn't very happy with them either, I guess. Yes. We had it's going pretty smooth up over there. We're still having trouble keeping it up, but that's the part I didn't really like. Which may be an advantage at some point with SRF and funding and stuff for future welfare we have setting up there in Winfield. So I'll keep working with that. I got to do another inspection with her. If there's something goes wrong after an inspection with her. We did one here recently over the aerator not working and somehow it healed itself, but it's not working again. I think we'll have Taylor Smith for that. Anyway, still working on all that, and if there's whatever else arises, we'll deal with it as it comes along. The water plant was part of the issue that night, and it just happened to have a check valve out, and it was literally out, laying back in my truck waiting on doing. We couldn't even run the water plant without it. that was fixed like the very next morning. All that's just water issue after water issue. It's rolls along real smooth and then all hell breaks loose sometimes. The other thing is this, other thing I got some comments.
Yeah, fully on that.
Topic, if we want to-
Yeah, fully on that. I mean, I think, obviously, it's kind of one of those things where we just had a piling of a lot of different things in one night. And, I mean, it's, nobody likes, I mean, there's obviously, you know, there's inconvenience that happens, but I think when you think about the grand scheme of sort of everything that had gone wrong to get to where we were, everything that could have gone even worse, I think, you know, we were lucky, but not only lucky, but, you know, thankfully, you know, the good work of the fire department and you guys' efforts that, you know, everybody came out safe, you know, the fire was under control, the water leak was fixed, you know, relatively quickly. I understand, you know, it's an inconvenience, I mean, but at the end of the day, I mean, that's, you know, it got fixed as fast as it could get fixed.
Because it really did.
So I think everybody should be commended. It's terrible that things happen, but when you think about how lucky you are to have kind of the reliability that we do, it's amazing.
Yeah, Bobby was pretty busy that night, so was I. I'm not sure how many phone calls over to. It's probably several. All the way into the next day, I believe.
The time.
Not for you, not for her.
We should just put it back, like, all of you.
Okay, stay with us, how we go, thank you. We ended up having 10 departments all together, including dispatch and law enforcement, so they fire department.
I was literally watching the water tower drop, and I was talking to the guy that lady. It was late then, and I'm like, oh hell, I don't know what just happened, but it's going out so fast now. There's something bad just happened. And right on the cue, Bobby called and said, we have a monster leak down by the apartment. It looked like Lake Spiceland out there.
Any other comments on that? You know, talk about your ordinance.
Yeah, we all here a couple of weeks ago, we talked about fiber optics and kind of got right on that. We got some little ordinance to work with here. There, and it's kind of skimmed through. I've skimmed through it. The folks been through it. I don't know if you guys have even seen it yet. It's on more paper. Can we find it smaller? Some of the language in there, Jack and I talked about yesterday. I think you have a list there somewhere. Some of the wording. In a lot of places where it says, send it to the town engineer, will change that to the town superintendent. So we gotta make a few changes to it. The one thing is the fee structure. I think we're gonna do like a one-time, like $500 permit fee right off the bat, just to recover some of the expenditure so far.
But I think it's up to now, but if you guys want copies,
Yeah, we can get y'all copies. I think we're ready for fiber optic. I think it's probably a good thing. It's bad if you hit when you're trying to do some other work, but we might want to make sure our insurance covers such deals with that in place, because it can be very expensive if you hit one.
one thing, and I didn't look at part of my final materials further, but when I was talking to Steve Russ about it, I mean, he had talked about we could require them to be a certain depth, either below at least all of our stuff. So that could be in there as well, so since they got a board anyway, you could require, I don't know what our typical water and sewer lines are at, but
Our water should put it in about 5 feet.
so, I mean, if you want to put in the ordinance that they've got to be 10 feet below the grade or something like that, maybe that might be a way to.
That's probably missed a lot of it.
part of it, because you guys are getting into it. Maybe that's something to look at, Patty. And
That, and somehow, if they attach to any of our existing employees, like, have to pay a normal structure like we charge everybody else, a phone company, cable company.
so this has come about because there has been some interest, and we've kind of been, I think, in a spot, we've been trying to get somebody to come in here for years. What's sort of bad is that with, with cable and the phone lines and people on DirecTV and different stuff, over the years, they were almost too segmented, and it was hard for anybody to come in here. If they could run a line out in the country, and they know they're going to pick up, like, everybody that's through there. And here, they don't know what percentage you're going to want to switch. So that's one thing that's always been difficult about trying to get somebody to come in here. But I think there seems to be an interest. What we're trying to avoid, number one, we have all this utility underground and stuff, so we want to make sure that we mitigate any issues either with us getting into their stuff or them getting into our stuff and causing the water leak or something like that. But also with like the cable that's on the lines, we have issues now with we take a pole out, or we take our lines off of an old pole, there's hardly anybody contact to get their stuff off of poles, and it causes a lot of issues. So I think trying to think ahead, and my understanding is that this was pulled from other communities. We're not reinventing the wheel here. We're taking, so that, I had a couple comments too. That in on the fees, I guess my comment on that is maybe, I don't know, maybe you've already done this, so you can talk to some other similar size. See what they charge, and then I also saw the same thing with like insurance. It looks like a lot of, to me, the open-ended questions were around fees and insurance bonds and things like that. But it's pretty expensive. I think because we have some interest, I think we would like to try to move this forward as quickly as possible. So maybe, there's no action to be taken on it tonight, but maybe try to take a look in the next week or two, and if you've got any comments or thoughts, send it to Jeff or Hope, and then get it over to Julie, and we can maybe take this up at the next meeting, or at least have a first reading. I won't be reading.
You won't read all the time?
Make it available.
Jack can read it all.
Jack
can read it all.
Jack can start at 5 and we're all coming in.
Does she know about the part about the town building we had?
Any other comments or thoughts on ordinance?
I will have some, I'll read it.
So yeah, if we can, let's try to give our thoughts and get it ready for a little review next month. Anything else? That's all. Right. Moving on to, are you guys any questions for the superintendent? Right, moving on to the treasurer report.
I don't have a whole lot this month. I just have, our bank statements, if anybody wants to throw in there. This is something we put into place just to, for the state board of accounts, just to make sure that we're getting everything to get things in motion. So that just, you would flip it over and sign, the April and May, the ones that are there, so. Other than that, I don't think I would have anything.
So I mentioned the vote, it's, crazy to think about, but we're getting time to start talking about budgets. So usually that's this month, next month, we start looking at budgets. So, if there's any thoughts on priorities for next year, communicate those to Hope or Jeff, if there's anything we're wanting to work on.
I went to see a couple months ago, I did give everybody a packet of kind of some things to be thinking about as far as increasing for the budget. So if you don't have those, let me know, I can resend this. Some ideas that we probably need to look at really increasing.
All right, anybody have questions for the clerk treasurer? Nope. All right, next item on the agenda are this month's claims. Everyone had an opportunity to review the claims as presented. If you're happy with the claims, I'd look for a motion to approve as presented. Sorry. Neely made that motion. Is there a second? Do you have a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 4-0. All right. Any old business from the council? I don't know if we had anything.
One of the things that has been LBC, we discussed it, so.
Any new items that the council wants to bring up? I'll mention that, Planning Commission had put together a real rough kind of draft that we sent over to Julie, and she's put together and, built up more formal, and I'm still reviewing it, so I'll get back, Planning Commission meets tomorrow night, we'll take a look at that, and I think we've got a map in pretty good shape too. I think the goal will be to try to get something through here next, still it's going to be a couple months, but I think we'll try to review, and get that ready to work. Planning Commission would have its public hearing, take comment, and send a recommendation back to the council. So hopefully we could get an ordinance on the books in the next 3 or 4 months, maybe, before the end of the year, which is always kind of the goal. So, all right. Any other new business? All right. All right. We will open it up to audience questions and comments. Yes.
On behalf of South Henry Regional Waste District, we need to request that the no parking around the lift station at Broad and Bond is enforced. We had the power outage on Saturday. We were unable to immediately get the generator hooked up to the lift station, and that creates an issue. So during Freedom Days and anytime really, we've got to make sure that our ultimate goal is to put in an on-site generator in the future, but we're still having to bring in the generator and hook it up during power failures.
So this is when we had the
during Freedom Days, there was a number of cars that we had to locate the people and have to move the cars so we could bring in the equipment. And
I understand it, yeah.
I think it is posted, yeah.
99% of the time.
It never happens, but when there's a big event, we just need to keep that in mind.
Sure.
I think there is no parking posted.
Yeah. It's a good point, something to keep an eye out for Freedom Days in the future. Other comments?
I want to know what can be done about the property to the west of me. The trees, the poison ivy, it's damaging my fence, it's coming over the fence, through the fence. Mr. Strong was talked to last year. He worked for 2-3 hours, quit, never came back. Now it is 10 times worse. And I can't go, I'm not going to go on the property and try to do anything. He would not like that. But I wondered if...
So the You said concern is, so there's poison ivy growing over
There's
your
poison
fence?
ivy, there's trees, there's weeds, I mean, he mows, and he doesn't do anything down that area. And it's pushing my slabs, I'd like to put up a new fence, it's pointless.
Sure.
As long as that, and it's an eyesore.
Yeah.
I'm sure the people on the other side have to look at it more than me because I have a privacy fence. But it's damaging my privacy fence. Poison ivy's coming through. Even if I don't get into it, I have a dog that does. I pet the dog, I get poison ivy.
Okay.
I've talked to him about this.
Sure.
Nothing.
Couple of thoughts, and one, I think we'll take a look at that. I mean, there is a rank vegetation ordinance, so we can take a look and see if there's an issue, so I think we can take a look at that. Obviously, if there's anything that's encroaching on your property, I mean, you have the ability to take care of that. And the other thing I would just, and I don't know the history, but, you mentioned a fence.
I have a privacy fence on my property.
Okay, I was gonna say, you know exactly where your property line is.
Yes, I do.
Because sometimes there can be confusion on whose fence it is.
Now, many years ago, there was issues, we had our property surveyed, and the fence and the fence posts they're set back like a few inches from the actual property line, so that is not an issue.
Gotcha.
But it's a lot of vegetation, there's trees, I have cut branches that have come over, but it's not just trees, it's weeds.
Sure.
And they're higher than my 6-foot privacy fence.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think the officer talked to him last year, like I said, he worked 2-3 hours and nothing.
Well, we'll take note of it, we'll take a look at it and see if we can. Other comments, sir, you have something?
Yeah, I'm Ron Strezinski. I own property here for about 12 years, I believe. And so regarding the planning and zoning that's coming up, I would just ask the council to consider when they look at that new planning map that currently, or previously, when Henry County was running the planning and zoning, I have a property that's own business, and I would just ask that you, hopefully in fairness, would consider that it could stay business. I would like to be a small part of business development here in Spiceland. I'm going to probably retire from teaching in about 3 years, and we thought about a ranch type, multi-tenant, maybe two businesses. This would be at the corner of Main and 3, and right now that's not zone business, but there's a problem right next to it, or close to it, that's business. And I don't know if people can speak at the planning and zoning meeting tomorrow publicly or not, but I was just coming as a friend to say, would you please consider, if, I know someone told me that in Cadiz, that town wanted to take over their zoning, and they kind of worked it out where if something was already zoned, the town went ahead and honored that and kept it. So, I mean, I have some maps if you want to look at them to see what I'm talking about, that shows what I'm talking about, but I would just hope that you guys would consider, specifically thinking of the corridor along State Road 3, I don't know if the town is taking responsibility from 500 south, which is just north of Interstate 70.
No, Moortown would stop just at the northern edge of 70.
Okay, and then going south along corridor 3 to Smith's Carpet, which is 700 south. I don't know if it goes that far as you.
Yeah, we stop at the Dollar General at the last property in town on both sides. Yeah, Mercer Street. Smith's Carpet is not in town.
Okay, because I know that Mo's car lot, he zoned a 2-acre lot on 3 on the east side that's general business, and I believe that's still within your.
There's a little bit of a like wall through there. I think actually maybe that property you're talking about, I think it's still in the county.
Okay, okay. But anyway, I own property that is zone business part of it, and I would just hope that when you proposed, that you would consider, which I think is fair, but I'm sure you have different variables to consider, but that's what I was hoping to convey.
Yeah. When we get to that process for the map adoption, we'll make sure that that's well publicized, that meeting's gonna be held. We'll make sure that there's a map copy here, maybe we'll try to get it on the website and everything so people can see that ahead of time. And so we'll take all those public comments into, both, people can convey that in writing or come to the meeting and convey that. But we'll make sure that before that adoption happens, before the conversation, public hearing happens with the planning commission, that's, everybody knows and has an opportunity to speak on that, and then the actual adoption will be here at the town board. Other comments? Yes, sir.
Yeah, since we're on the subject of ordinances and whatnot, it seems like every town, city, county, and state has a weekend, or extended weekend ordinances. We wonder if we can extend our noise ordinance for Friday night and Saturday.
I thought maybe he was gonna allow us to extend the weekend. That was.
We can do that. Do that too.
I honestly, we just passed. The
I know.
ordinance was brand new, like.
But now you're at 10 o'clock, I was thinking 11. 12 would be nice, but for 11.
Yeah, and I'm not as familiar, because that ordinance, we just passed it a few months ago. Jack kind of led that, more. I didn't take a look at that, I'm not sure, but that's something we can certainly take a look at, whether or not it warrants any change, because that's brand new, so we're still working through that. All right.
One other thing.
Go ahead. Sure.
We need to get Hope and Atta girl for her and Angie putting on a hell of a parade this year.
Yeah, it was a great parade. He's only saying that because he wants to get second place next year. No, it was great. I love the parade. My kids have been in I think almost every year since we moved here, so I love to see it every year. All right, any other comments?
I guess I was just asking, is that planning and zoning meeting open to the public tomorrow?
Yes, yeah.
And will that be here?
No, we actually will need the, overall,
What time is that?
6 o'clock.
Thanks.
All right, there's nothing else? Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn. All those in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you all. Nice job.